So I'm going to start this review by saying that I enjoy a lot of Will Smith's movies. I think Will Smith is a fantastic actor. And if you never got to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, then I truly feel bad for you because that show was hilarious.
You know what? I could yell. I could scream. I could even call you some names. But you know what? One of us has to be the mature one. And it ain't gonna be me, Aunt Jemima.
Even though I've enjoyed quite a few of Will Smith's movies, I will admit that there have been few that I think kind of sucked. And I would have to say that this movie falls into the sucked category. Now there's quite a few things about this movie that make it an easy target for me. I mean, there's the plot, Jaden Smith, the director, the performances, Jaden Smith. Seriously though, it must be nice having a movie career handed to you on a silver platter. And that's basically what this is. I mean, come on, it's pretty obvious. I mean, why was Jaden Smith cast in this movie? Was it because of his incredible acting skills?
Sir, I am dedicated, have studied, and consistently display conduct becoming of a ranger, sir.
Or maybe it had to do with the fact that the movie was produced by his father, mother, and uncle. Oh yeah, and the story was created by Will Smith as well. And this is actually part of why I hate this movie so much. I mean, while most teenagers are lucky to get like a video game or some clothes as a gift, mine was usually socks. This kid gets cast as the lead in a $130 million movie. I want a $130 million movie. Can I have a $130 million movie?
Hello.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, Mark.
How are you?
Okay.
Good. I was wondering, can you find me like $130 million so I can make a movie?
What?
By the way, at the end of this video, I'm gonna read some of his tweets because, well, they're just hilarious. And because this is my show and I can just do whatever the hell I want. So in the first 90 seconds of this movie, we're told that Earth was evacuated 1,000 years ago. Okay, fine, makes sense. Until later, when we hear this.
Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans.
Even though there hasn't been any humans for 1,000 years? That doesn't make any sense. Well, we're off to a great start. Why do movies set in the future sometimes have to come up with some kind of weird, like, futuristic accent?
Monsters, bred to kill humans. Technically blind, the Ursa sees humans based on the pheromones we secrete when frightened. They literally smell our fear.
I mean, it sounds terrible. Within the first 2 minutes of this movie, I was contemplating whether or not I was gonna watch the rest of the thing on mute. So they go on this mission to transport this monster called an Ursa that can only smell fear. So the ship starts going through an asteroid field and Will Smith tells Jaden to get a life suit. But he doesn't take one for himself. Look, I know the character is supposed to have no fear, but just because you're fearless doesn't mean that you can't be prepared. It's like if I was to wear a life jacket while going on a boat. I'm not really scared that the boat's gonna flip over, but if that was to happen, I would prefer to not drown and not die. Also, being completely void of fear doesn't mean that you have to be completely void of all emotions entirely. I mean, Will Smith's character pretty much has the personality of a sponge throughout this movie. I mean, he just comes off as incredibly cold until the end of the movie where he finally gives his son a hug. The first time we see him, he's coming home from some sort of mission or something, and it's obvious that he's been away for a while. His wife is really happy to see him, and he looks like he doesn't even really give a shit. I mean, I understand that he's a general in the military or whatever, but the only time that we actually see him show some warmth is at the end of the movie. So anyways, the ship crashes on Earth and everybody inside the ship is killed except for Will and Jaden. How convenient. Will's legs are broken in the crash, so Jaden's gotta go on this mission to find the tail section of the plane and retrieve some kind of rescue beacon. And he gives him these capsules that will help him breathe in more oxygen in Earth's apparently low oxygen atmosphere. And without them, apparently he'll die. Now, I'm not a scientist or anything, but I would actually argue that without humans on Earth for 1,000 years, that there would be more oxygen than ever before. Because when you eliminate humans, you also eliminate all of the pollution and non-biodegradable waste that we produce. And after 1,000 years of not having any humans around to cut down trees and forests to make way for roads and buildings and cities, plant life would just do what it does best, which is just grow. over everything. And here's a little interesting fact about plants. They produce oxygen. Now, I'm not sure what we did 1,000 years ago to warrant a complete evacuation of the planet, but it's obvious that we didn't turn it into a complete nuclear wasteland, because every time we see Jaden on Earth, 95% of the locations are completely covered in foliage. And even if we ignore that whole thing and just go along with the whole idea of Earth's atmosphere being too hostile to breathe, it would most likely be too hostile for other living creatures as well, like baboons and birds and saber-toothed cats. And that part isn't even coming from me, that's coming from actual evolutionary biologists. They kind of know what they're talking about. Finally, Jaden finds the tail of the ship and discovers that the Ursa escaped from that cage thing they had it in. Anyways, he finds the beacon, but unfortunately it's not working because of the ionic layer in the atmosphere in that area, which kind of seems like a cheap piece of writing to get in a location change, but whatever. Let's just go with it. We're already balls deep into this thing. So instead, Jaden has to climb up a mountain, you know, the one with all the lava and the giant cloud of volcanic ash spewing out the top of it. And while I'm no doctor, I would probably advise against this idea. Probably due to the fact that volcanic ash makes it difficult to breathe, and you're apparently already in an atmosphere where it's naturally difficult to breathe in. Anyways, the Ursa is coming after him, but the only way I can find him is by smelling fear, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of lame. I mean, that's it. Only fear. It's kind of limiting when you think about it, because obviously they can't see or hear you walking around or smell even your natural body odor or smell your blood, which, you know, like just one drop of a shark can smell from a quarter of a mile away. So I kind of feel bad for the thing, because for something that looks like such a badass monster, it really has no senses at all. So he kills the monster and he activates the beacon and they get rescued. Honestly, aside from finding the movie very boring because of the dull characters, I think one of the biggest problems I had with it was the waste of talent. I think Will Smith is an incredible actor. I mean, he's delivered some amazing performances before, but in this movie, I mean, he's not really able to do anything. It's obviously Jaden that gets the spotlight here, but unfortunately, I just don't feel like the charisma or screen presence has been passed down through the gene pool. And although I've never met the kid and I don't know what he's like in real life, and this has nothing to do with the movie, but he just kind of comes off as one of the most pretentious, entitled young celebrities on the planet. Okay, so to be fair, yes, I know he's just a kid, and we all said stupid stuff when we were younger, and we've all probably said stupid things on the internet. I know I have. But the difference is I don't go around condemning education to millions of impressionable youth. If everybody in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society. No, not really. No, we'd actually have the opposite of that. School is the tool to brainwash the youth. No, it's actually pretty important. Why is he capitalizing every word? Most trees are blue. What is wrong with you? If newborn babies could speak, they would be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth. No, they wouldn't, because they don't know anything yet. If newborn babies could speak, it'd probably be something along the lines of, "Shapes! Give me boob! Ah!" How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? What? All the rules in this world were made by someone no smarter than you, so make your own. No, that's just not true at all. We need to stop teaching the youth about the past and encourage them to change the future. Yeah, actually, it's incredibly important to teach people about the past. Hey, I got another quote for you. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Yeah, kind of makes sense when you think about it. I encourage you all to unfollow me so I can be left with the people who actually appreciate philosophy and poetry. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Jaden, you're not a philosopher. Aristotle was a philosopher. You're just a rich teenager with famous parents and a Twitter account. By the way, if any of you know why I have to do that clap at the beginning of my footage, if you guess right, I will give you one of these PS4s. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to give away a PS4. I'll give away a PS4 and an Xbox One. But they're both broken.